I don't want to say they have aura because they don't. They're bums. Their Masumi is so cool, dude. They're frauds. No, they're not my Masumi. Like with the suits and the double swords and their just completely blank expression. Them. They're not Ro. They're not Moku. They're not Sumi. I don't know. Their design is just so sick. Hokuzono cooked so hard with this lot. But them. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I'm late. Okay, I was sick this weekend. See? Right. Kagurabachi 127 is actually a really good way to pick up from the last chapter. It's definitely not as like deep and tragic, but I really enjoyed the beginning of it where we explore a little bit further into kind of Kunishige's mindset as he grows up and what ultimately led him to, you know, becoming the person that he turned out to be. Page 1, pure ink. Again, I feel like Hokuzono's in on the joke at this point. I think he knows. At this point, it has to be deliberate. Like, it's just, there's way too much ink. But yeah, this is some Tokyo Ghoul-ass page, bro. I don't even know. This is creepy as hell. That guy is definitely been smoking something before turning up here. I didn't realize they had crackheads in the sorcery estates of Japan, but yeah, they do. And yeah, this guy just starts swinging around like a lunatic with one of Kunishige's dad's swords. Now, Kunishige's dad went by the swordsmith name Yamaroku Isa, and this is the one part of his dad that he actually kind of admired a bit and looked up to, right? Because that was when they were at their best, when they were doing the swordsmithing stuff. Now, what actually happens here is he comes in swinging. Shiba just happened to be in the area, but we'll talk about that in a second. Kicks him in the face. Chiaki gets a bit of a cut on her arm, and then it's happy days, and we move on back to the current part of the flashback with them doing the Tatara process. But before we talk about the rest of it, and before we talk about what Shiba was doing there, I want to go over why this is so significant, because basically this guy was running in here like a crazy person with a sword that he had supposedly bought from Kunishige's dad, yelling about how he knows that Kunishige is the son of, what's his name, Yamaroku Isa, and that he has a lot of that money left over, and clearly this guy feels entitled to a cut, right? Which Kunishige is like, wait, yeah, I do have a lot of money left over. And then he kind of makes the connection that the reason he has so much money left behind for him to live on and live comfortably on is because unlike Kunishige, who is very, very sparing with who he sells swords to, and it is definitely not about the money with him, unlike Kunishige, who has that respect and such for the katana, his dad was just making kind of mediocre swords and just sort of crapping them out, basically farming swords and just selling as many as he could. And now it's not stated outright, but the implication is there because they have lots of money, which means he would have sold a lot of swords, and the swords are not of any particularly stunning quality. So yeah, Kunishige kind of put together that like, oh, the reason we have money is because my dad would make weapons that are designed for ultimately killing and would just sell them to anybody who would pay him, which is ultimately what would lead to Kunishige's motivation of only selling to very select people that he trusted, such as Mashiro, and then also spending the time needed to make sure those swords are the highest quality they can be, which then also gets passed down to Chihiro, who was taught very firmly to respect the katana and make sure that he takes responsibility for them falling in the right hands. So I really like how this chapter, literally a few pages at the beginning, kind of clarifies where that mindset came from for Kunishige, and I really enjoyed that. Shiba, I don't know, is he like trying to matchmake? Is he just being a guardian? Like Shiba just kind of does this, right? He seems to be lurking off screen, like literally always lurking off screen, and then arrives exactly when he needs to save the day. It's a very Shiba thing. It's a very guardian thing because he is the guardian, you know? So I like that kind of tie-in with his character being this kind of ever-watching guardian, but on a real note, like, why was he there? I don't know. Like, was he gonna be there anyway? Like, was he watching Kunishige the whole time? Was he there just to, like, how did he even know to be there? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's, yeah, but W Shiba, he is the GOAT. So anyway, yeah, we go back to the current time of the flashback. Joji is now on board. Big up Joji, fat ass nose. I love that guy, all right? He's cool as hell, and he's like, yeah, we definitely need to stick with this plan since I've seen they've been here for, what, 38 hours now? Kunishige's been going non-stop, Subaru's been going non-stop, and they've had Joji and Shiba here just, like, keeping them company, making sure everything's okay, keeping an eye out for the Kamanabi, the Sorcery Bureau, who's going to pull up any minute to try and stop them, and they are all collectively in agreement that this is maybe the stupid and reckless decision, but it is the right decision. And for that reason, Kunishige is like incredibly tapped in, right? This is like the most purpose he's ever had because he understands that should he fail, that is going to be the end of Chiaki's life and his kind of relationship with Chiaki as well, which obviously he can't have because she's such an important part of the person he is now. And that's when we get that beautiful page with the fire, and again associating the fire with, like, you know, good things in Kunishige's life. He's saying that he finally gains meaning in his life when he risks it for her, and I really enjoyed that. It's a nice little kind of thing there, and it explains why Kunishige is so tapped in right now. He just has to sit there regardless of what goes on around him and stare at those flames, because they're at a part in the process where he needs to observe everything, or that prophecy is going to come true and they're going to get blown to Kingdom Come. Now, that being said, the Sorcery Bureau then finally pulls up, and immediately Shiba is out there, bro. Guardian Things immediately teleports out. But what I do want to know is if the Sorcery Bureau are well aware of the fact that they are dealing with an incredibly volatile, dangerous, and explosive substance that could potentially take out the entire civilian area if it goes that horribly wrong. Why are they pulling up to the fight with a giant explosion? Like, not only are they advertising they're here, but also, is that not a bit risky? Why are we doing that? Let's not do that. Like, imagine the ground shakes a bit and then suddenly everything goes boom, you know? Like, that's just seems like such a... No, I mean, I get it. They probably wanted to draw out Shiba, because going into that room with Subaru, Shiba, and Joji all there in one place would be... I don't know if the Masumi are built like that, but... Oh, this is the bit that gets to me. Okay, so Shiba, yeah, he's out, he's standing in a field, immediately realizes the Masumi are masters of stealth, right? They are the cool stealth ninjas that can even surprise Seiichi Samura himself. Which means, yeah, if I stand in the middle of a field, I'll have a much better shot. But nope, because the rain hides their presence, whatever the fuck that means. This girl, guy, I don't know, this Masumi, who is not Romoku or Sumi, she, I don't know. They just tap Shiba on the back with this scroll and just undo all the medicine, all the treatment, all the operations. I don't know what he went through to, like, get fixed up after getting absolutely battered on that island, but they just reverted him back to the state he was in on Irishima, like slit throat, completely exhausted, bleeding head to toe. His arm is absolutely shattered just by touching him on the back, and just, like, literally she pulled out the receipts, bro. She pulled out the medical bill and went, your card declined, mate. That's what happened, more or less, which is such a cheap, shitty bit. Sure, it's cheating. Doesn't say much about Shiba's strength level, because obviously, you know, the only person that's inflicting that level of injuries on him right now is Aryu, and the Masumi are definitely not built like Aryu. But if she's able to literally, undetected, grab him on the back and he hasn't noticed, what's stopping him from just like, Toji Gojoing it and just stabbing him in the back? Like, why are these guys not more broken than they are, bro? That if no one can detect them, just like, do you know what I mean? It's a bit silly, but I don't want to say they have aura, because they don't. They're bums. The Masumi are so fucking cool, dude. They're frauds. No, they're not my Masumi. Like, with the suits and the double swords and their just completely blank expression. Fuck them. They're not Ro. They're not Moku. They're not Sumi. I don't know. Their design is just so sick, bro. Hokuzono cooked so hard with this lot. But fuck them. They are really cool. A lot of people think they're the parents. I don't care. These guys are frauds, but they're cool. I don't know how to feel about them, basically. Now, when I saw these two that I'm going to show on screen now, when I saw these two, I did have a thought, and I was like, maybe that is the case. I'm not saying it's necessarily one of these two, even though they both have attributes that look a lot like him. I was like, that guy kind of looked like Kuguri. And then I thought about it, and I was like, Kuguri, an unknown ghost of the Hishaku with no records, and is a professional swordsman with immense respect for the blade, aligning himself with Yura, and whose first matchup in the series was against the Masumi. And then I started to think, like, yeah, maybe. I'm not saying it's one of this lot. It makes sense. Like, something happens in the war and he goes rogue, like a rogue ninja. It's very Naruto. It feels like something Hokuzono would do. I'm just saying, I would not be surprised if Kuguri is ex-Masumi. I think that would be cool as fuck. But yeah, and then they pull up, and immediately Subaru and his shadow clones are on smoke. Sword in hand. He's not even gripping it properly. I don't know. He's kind of like, he's got some weird style, and he's hella nonchalant. Like, he's not even worried. I'm not worried for him either, because obviously he's one of the swordsmen that were chosen to wield the blade. So Masumi might be good, but I don't think they're that good. And yeah, then we end with even more ink being used on this awesome panel. And this panel right here is what made me realize we absolutely need this man to be voiced by J.K. Simmons. Great chapter. I don't know what to say. I think just the first few pages really moved me, and then the rest of it was just cool. Fuck the Masumi though, because they did my boy dirty. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys actually pretty soon in New York City, where I'll be watching the first episode of Kagurabachi. Peace!